Familia, where are you in the conversation of AI? Where do you stand in this great debate? Where do you stand in this next revolution that we are entering or have entered? Are you pro AI? Are you against AI? Today's episode, I share my thoughts, I share my experience, and I share the shadows of my own journey with AI. So if you're interested, be sure to grab your tecito or cafecito or whatever it is you need, and let's enjoy. Hola, familia, and welcome to Fire and Butterflies, where vulnerability meets authenticity, where courage meets love, and where fire meets butterflies. And I am your host, Comadre Cristal. I am so glad to be here today, especially because, as you heard in the intro, this conversation is one that I have been mulling over in my mind for quite some time. To be very frank with you and very like it's been it's been an ongoing inner dialogue. And lately it's been a conversation that has really been pushing me. Like I've been having it more and more with other healers, other spiritual folks, other entrepreneurs, other podcasters, other people, other moms, other therapists, like everyone. And that conversation is all about AI. Where's AI? What's AI doing to us? And the reason why I really decided to say fuck it and create this podcast episode is because I've been really trying to find my place in the AI debate. Is it really a debate, though? I'm curious. I mean, it is actually, because I know a lot of people who say they love it, and I know a lot of people who say they hate it. And every time I'm in conversations with both sides, I've always find myself in this place of where do I feel? Not necessarily where I feel I belong, because it's not that I mean, it's not a belonging. It's more of like, where do I feel I Um, what's the word? How do I, f- where does it align with my values, with my morals, with my beliefs? Where does it align with me? And so that has been an interesting, like I said, it's been an on this, I will be very honest, this has been an inner dialogue for the last 2.5 years since I started using AI. So I don't even, and so, okay, I want to share where this is coming from and why this podcast episode has, like, I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to have this episode and just do it. So, one of the things that I have realized about my relationship with AI and where I'm at is that it feeds my ego. It feeds the perfectionism that my ego loves and craves. And as you all very well know, and if it's your first time seeing me, then welcome. Welcome to the episode. Welcome to the podcast. But what I always say is perfectionism is the tool of the oppressor. And and I have a severe perfectionism wound. Like severe? Yeah, it's severe. I like being perfect. I like everything being in order. Not necessarily in order like OCD order, but I just it if things are done right or perfectly, it does create the safety feeling for me. If I get it right the first time, I am safe. If I get it right, there's no rejection. It's gonna be like it's this idea. And and I didn't really I again I this was not something that I always have been mulling over in my head. It just recently came up where I realized, oh, holy moly, AI is really helping feed this part of me, the perfectionism. Because here's the thing too, like it's not the perfectionism of being a perfect human, because that's not possible, familia, you know. It's more of, for me, it's been about the perfectionism as an entrepreneur, as a solo business person going into this world, venturing and trying to, make ends meet and really pushing to figure out like, how do I do this without everything else that without all the other resources that other people have or don't have, that's where for me AI stepped in and really helped. But at the same time, I started realizing, holy shit, this is feeding this part of me that craves perfectionism. And so I say all of this because that's really what I really want to share a little bit about my thoughts on it, share a little bit of my thoughts of where I'm going with this, and I guess make my decision if I am pro or against. Because like I said, like I feel like people are now getting to this place where they expect us to have, hey, are you for AI or against AI? And And so, yes, that's what this conversation is going to be about. Because I decided, you know what, I need to say this. I need to speak into it. Don't know why, don't know who needs to hear it, but that's exactly what I just need to do. And so, even this conversation in itself has, like, again, in my head, trying to process it, talking to other people. But even that in itself, for me, had gotten so overwhelming. So, of course, I went to AI and said, hey, like these are my thoughts. This is what's happening. This is like everything that's going on in my head. And and one of the things that I do see this, and I know this, is that I truly do believe AI is a mirror. I had a beautiful conversation with a friend, with my business coach, as you all remember her from season one, Haley. Love her. And so was having a beautiful conversation with Haley about AI, especially using it in business perspective. And she mentioned something so beautifully, and I was like, oh my God, Haley, you're absolutely right. Every time there's a new tool that expands society, there's going to be pushback. I mean, it's part of our growth. It's part of the ebbs and flows of life. For example, what she used when she was talking to me was the Industrial Revolution. She's like, "Remember, Crystal? Like there was an Industrial Revolution. We all went through this." Like, and it's like, "Oh my God, you're right." And then she even mentioned, when the internet came out, it was like the same thing. I was like, "Holy moly, you're right!" Like we are now entering another stage. And I mean, obviously, I wasn't around for the Industrial Revolution. However, what did the Industrial Revolution create? It positivity. It created more productivity. It created more, not productivity necessarily, but more of like the output of products, like the assembly. Sorry, my dog wants to come up. Um, Oh, there you go, baby. So, for those of you who are watching the podcast, this is Chula. And for those of you who are listening, my dog is on my lap right now. And so, yeah, my baby. And I lost my train of thought. So what happened? So Industrial Revolution, yes, it did produce more material. I mean, the assembly line, all of this, like it did create that. And the flip side of that coin, it also created exploitation. It also created pollution, So again, Industrial Revolution. But did we get rid of it? Of course not. We now have what what has been the end product of the Industrial Revolution, the internet. I That one I was around for. Not the discovery of it necessarily, because it was, I mean, to a lot of my familia, you remember dial-up tone. You remember connecting to the internet. Like we know this feeling. And so, and I remember during that time, again, there was a lot of dark sides to the internet. I mean, to this day, there's still a lot of dark sides. But again, we got educated, we got informed, we figured it out. parameters around those things. Just like when factories came out. Like so with every evolution, there is this parameters that need to be built. And so that's what I realized. I was like, you know, that's exactly what it is. Like, so that's my thought. That's my opinion. AI is here to stay. We cannot get rid of it. It's not gonna go, it's not, we're not gonna get rid of it. That is the new evolution, the new human evolution. That's the new path, not the new path, but the continuation of the path that we're on. I mean, it's here to stay. And so what can we do is we can build parameters. We can have boundaries with it. We can really create this place of using it as a tool and not necessarily using it as the solution or the end all be all of everything. And I think that's where a lot of people have been struggling, you know, because of the conversations I've had, even my own thoughts and my own opinions, is there has become this dependency. For example, and that's as I started this episode, for me, it created this dependency on I created a dependency on AI for the perfectionism in me. Not necessarily creating and like not necessarily using AI for the answers or for the solutions. For me, it became, hey, you know, and again, transparency, because you all know me. I have used AI when it comes to my business, to when it comes to fire and butterflies. We'll stick to the podcast. I used AI in the very, 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 very beginning to help create the descriptions, the SEO, because I don't know any of that stuff. Like that's not my strength. And it was wonderful. It was perfect. And as I continued to grow, as my podcast continued to grow, as things started to evolve as myself and as an entrepreneur, as a podcaster, my ego then decided to come in and say, hey, you need to be more professional. You need to be more of a legit podcaster. And then that's when I went to AI and said, hey, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to have this. I want to have this structure. I want to do this. I want to have an outline. Again, the ego really pushed for this idea of perfectionism when it came to my podcast. And so I did. I went down that hole and then I started noticing that that's when I stopped having um episodes. Like that's when I would go months without sharing, without speaking, without saying anything. I mean, it was because it just it stopped feeling authentic to me because it was already so structured that authenticity didn't even feel right anymore. And so that's why I haven't recorded a podcast episode in quite some time. And not to say that my previous podcast episodes have been unauthentic. You all know they've been real, but they have all felt a little recently, not all. Recently, some of them have felt a little off because it's like there's something that's not right. And that's when I realized it's because my ego is in control in this episode and not necessarily me. Like it's like, well, think of it this way. It's like my ego is a director and my inner comadre just comes and does a podcast episode and then leaves. And, you know, for many of you, you don't want to have your ego as a director. And for me, I sure as I am not supposed to have my ego as a director. And so that's why I haven't done a podcast episode in quite some time is that perfectionism. And so recently when I had that realization, I was like, "Oh my God. You know what? That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come on here, call myself out on it, tell everyone, hey, by the way, and this is what's up. This is what I'm going through. This is what I'm doing." And really just not necessarily expose myself, but that feeling of letting you all know we're all going through this because I know it's not just me. I have had so many conversations with so many amazing people who have felt the same of like why like what are we doing? How are we doing this? Why are we doing this? And I'm like, you know what? Me too. And so that's why I decided, you know what, F it. I'm just gonna record this episode and I'm just gonna do it without an outline, without even a title, without nothing. I'm just gonna come up here, give my thoughts, and then boom, drop the episode. And so it's been interesting. It's been interesting to get to this point. And I pray that I stay in this point. I really do. I pray that I can continue on with this momentum and just when I need to record a podcast episode, just record the podcast episode and not feel so tied up by this. I need to be perfect. I need to get it right. I need to say the right thing. I need to drop the right information. I need to sound legit. I need to sound like I know what the fuck I'm talking about, which I do know what the fuck I'm talking about. But again, my ego loves to come on in and give me all these other things. So yeah, so that's been a lot of what I've been going through in my mind. So like I said earlier, familia, A- AI is here to stay. AI is not going anywhere. So for me, I am pro AI, not necessarily pro AI again, not necessarily pro AI as the solution, the all be all, like use discernment, just like when Google came out. I mean, many of you all remember, at least for me, it was in the 90s, when even before Google, it was Yahoo. You guys all remember that Yahoo? I remember when Yahoo was the thing and everyone would like just or Ask Jeeves. Was it Ask Jeeves? I think so. It was Ask Jeeves or something like that. And we would like just look up the answers before Google was the thing. We would Google the answers, Google the question, or not Google because Google wasn't as popular as Ask Jeeves or Yahoo, but we would. And then we still had to do our research. We still had to use our discernment. And so I feel like that's where we're at now with a lot with people with AIs. Use your discernment, familia. You know, can when you if you are going to use AI, it's okay. As long as you continue to know that it is a mirror. It is not the solution. It is not the answer at all. AI is a mirror and it's mirroring everything for you. And so for me, realizing, I mean, I've always known this, but really realizing that it was mirroring, not necessarily the the parts of me that I wanted it to mirror. It was mirroring the parts of me that don't need to be mirrored. I We don't need to mirror my perfectionism. Like, no, we don't. And so, and so yes, it's here to stay. It's here as a tool. And if that's the case, I truly do believe then if we can't beat them, let's join them with our parameters, with our limits, with our boundaries, with our expectations. Because if we continue to give away our power to things like this, just to give it power, I know, baby, it's not gonna help. It's not gonna do anything. It's not gonna. It's that hamster wheel that we're going in over and over again. It's a tool. And we are the ones in charge. We are the ones in the driver's seat. We are the ones directing and dictating which way we want to take our individual AI. I mean, I'm not speaking global answer because it's this is bigger than us. This is bigger than us. And so I really do, I do, if I can offer any advice or anything that I don't know, anyone needs to hear, especially if you yourself have been having this own dialect or this conversation with others or this debate or even your own thoughts or even your own confusion or even your own um shame, you know, because I had shame too for the longest time. I was so ashamed to share that I was using AI. And again, that just came from this idea of perfectionism. Like, I don't want people to know that I'm trying to be perfect. And here I am telling everyone I need to be perfect. But, but yeah, so if any of you are carrying any of these feelings, any of the stuff, Amelia, we're all like, you're not the only one. We're all going through it. We're all in this together. This is part of evolution. This is part of growth. This is part of being in the age of the Aquarius. Like, this is the age of Aquarius. Change, I mean, things are changing. Technology is advancing. And I understand, I trust me, I understand the environmental capacity, the downside, the dark side of all of this. I 100% do. I just it- when things are bigger when when things are bigger than me in this perspective, I bless it and change me. I really do lean on that prayer. I lean on my spirit team and saying, Spirit team, this is you. You take care of it. You handle it and help me figure out my place in it. Figure out where I am. Figure out, help me bless. Oh, oh, thank you. I just got the prayer right now. So for many of you who want to use this prayer, I'm going to be using it. Bless AI and change my relationship with it. So that's the prayer, familia. Bless AI and change my relationship with it. Mm, I needed to hear that. Anyways, thank you all for being here. Like I said, I just wanted to chop on and share this and speak into it because I already know that trust me, I'm already in my head deep down wondering, asking myself, oh my God, is this long enough? Is this good enough? Is this like, no, F it. I'm just going to drop the episode. There it is. And I pray that I continue on with this courage to do more podcast episodes because I really do. Like, I love and I miss it. And I know I wanted to be more intentional when I dropped season 2. Um, and there's no excuses, familia. Like it truly is just life and I'm growing and going with it. But that's the beauty. I'm not perfect and I never will pretend to be perfect to all of you. And that's why I love Fire and Butterflies because it is when authenticity meets vulnerability. That's the best way to be authentic is to be vulnerable. Um, and when courage meets love, and I'm being courageous, not hoping, praying that it's met with love because it is, when someone is courageous, you do show up with love of like, damn, you did it. Good for you. And you just love on that person. And obviously when fire meets butterflies, and that's when Gus meets the world. All right. Well, that's it. I love you all so much for being here. Thank you so much for your patience as I do another podcast episode, as I'm figuring out my life, as I am moving with the ebbs and flow of my own life, my own seasons. Ah, we're all in this together, familia. Literally one day at a time, 1 hour at a time for many of us at times, but we got this. Thank you all so much for those of you who continue to stay on and continue to send me messages, continue to email me, who just are there, and I love you. Thank you so much. I love you all so much. I couldn't none of this would be possible without any of you, to be honest with you. Like you are fire and butterflies. You are love your comadre. I just show up, share my thoughts, and bless and release. So thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of La Familia. Okay, with all of this, I am sending you all so much fire and butterflies. And familia, don't forget to always love your now. Bye.